All right. I'm going to record myself in case this is any good. I can share it with people. So I'm going to voice recording. I don't have a smartphone. So this is my, I think, third or fourth night or something. So it's pretty new. And I started telling some friends and like people in my choir and whatever that I'm doing stand-up comedy. And already like 3 or 4 people have told me something like, you do open, like stand-up comedy, open mics? Like, you're the last person I know that I would imagine doing this. And I'm like, okay, I wondered, like, what are they referring to? Are they trying to say, like, you are the least funny person I have ever met. Like, you are so unfunny. You've never made me smile, much less laugh. Like, I can't even imagine you putting together, you know, one coherent joke. Like, is that what they're saying? Or maybe they're saying, like maybe what they're actually referring to is my, like, you know, obvious lack of social skills. I don't know, but like, I've heard this 3 or 4 times, so I guess like tonight you can decide for yourself if it's the social skills or, you know, that I'm not funny. I don't know which one it is. So I walk everywhere that I need to go in town. It's partly because I like walking, but mostly because I hate driving. First of all, as a guilt-ridden Jew with global warming anxiety, I subscribe to the view that every time I push the gas pedal, another polar bear bursts into flames. Not funny. Also, it just terrifies me. Like, just driving is terrifying. I'm a cowardly driver, a confident biker, and a reckless walker. It might sound crazy, but I feel most comfortable with modes of transportation that, you know, don't carry a risk of accidentally murdering a few people on my way to get some, you know, ketchup and olive oil. Also, I believe that not all brains are designed for driving. One thing that my brain can't do, I cannot orient in space. So sometimes my husband will be like, I think you forgot to turn off the lights in, like, that room. I'm like, no, don't do that. This is why we name the fucking rooms. Like, each room has a name, name the name. You know I don't know what that is. I can't figure it out. And if I'm using a map, I have to do it kind of like this. I'm like, okay, so go 2 kilometers down Jane, then turn left onto Pinewood Drive. Okay, then take a right on Cedar Crest Road. Like, that's how I follow a map. And driving in North Bay is especially hard because something is very wrong with our city. Most of our downtown is a grid, which is wonderful. I love grids. I can do grids. So how the fuck is it possible that Main Street intersects Castles intersects Algonquin, and Algonquin intersects Main Street? Like, who the hell made the heart of downtown into a triangle? Like, that's not right. It's funny because I crossed out the words like fuck and fucking on this paper because I actually did this set at a fundraiser for Trinity Church recently. So I was like, maybe not church friendly. So now I'm like having to add all this fuck stuff. So my other brain problem is that nothing about driving has become automatic to me, the way that it does for most brains. So before every stop sign, I have to say to myself, okay, pay close attention, Masha, pay close attention. Okay, hang on. Did I get here just before that gray car? Was it just after the red car? Now they're honking. Who are they honking at? Are they honking at me? Are they telling me that I should go? Or are they assuming I'm about to go and telling me to stop? I just can't figure it out. Another issue I have with stop signs is, like, this is a true story. Sometimes I've waited for half a minute and the freaking thing, it won't turn green. I'm just standing there. This has happened multiple times. It's ridiculous. So also, third thing, my brain is not capable of multitasking. So if I'm pouring some water in a cup and someone starts to talk to me, I will hold the cup there under the sink as it overflows for like 7 minutes while they're talking. I cannot think. I just can't do 2 things at the same time. So one time my older brother came to visit North Bay, and we went shopping first thing because he's not like a vegan pussy like me. So we went to Sobeys, and on the way he starts talking and he's like, hey, I haven't seen you for a while, you know, like, how's it going? And I'm like, hold on, listen, we're approaching Sobeys and this is about to get very complicated. There's at least 1 stop sign on our way, so just shh, I need silence. So because of all that, I walk a lot in town. And naturally, I'm forcing my kids to walk a lot too. They're pretty good about it, but I've been starting to have this really awkward experience with them as we walk. It's kind of like disturbing. So we get to a crosswalk, and it's like, I feel like my kids are about to cross, and then I'm like, hold on, don't go yet. Look over there, see the crossing signal? You can't go until the white man says you can go, okay? See? Yeah, now, look, the white man is telling us it's safe to cross. And then I'm like, whoa, like, am I enforcing road safety or supporting the patriarchy? Like, why is there this white man? It's kind of racist, so I don't like it. Yeah, so, guess I still got time. So, I also have this one really kind of embarrassing secret. I like eating food that tastes good. At home, you will frequently find me hiding in a little cranny between the fridge and the wall in the dark with chocolate cookies that I bought with cash. I don't want to let my husband see, what I bought, and I'm hiding the wrappers in little zip-up pockets in my purse, and then I dispose of them in the dark at night on the street in a public trash can. No one can see this. My husband kind of suspects it, and he would never question my right to eat something, kind of yummy or delicious. But I just have this shame about it. I don't know where it comes from. Once I was out with my daughter, and we went to a bulk barn, and I decided to get some chocolate-covered pretzels. And I quickly split them. I split them with her in the car because I didn't want, anyone to see I had bought chocolate. And then when I got home, my husband was like, oh, hey, our daughter outed you. She outed you for those chocolate-covered pretzels. I was like, excuse me, outed? Like, I acted really outraged. Like, what do you mean outed? If I want chocolate-covered pretzels, I buy fucking chocolate-covered pretzels. Like, it's not a secret. But secretly, I was like, oh, that snitch, she told on me. So, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know where I learned that I should be embarrassed of, like, wanting to have a treat, but, it might be something I learned from, my mom. She was eating a little small plate of cold potatoes, and the rest of us are eating this big fancy feast she made for us. So I learned that good women are like, dutiful and hardworking, and they don't want things. Like, we're just not supposed to want things. And this extends to water. This actually extends to water. So more than once, like here's a good example of what happens to me. I'll come over to a friend's house for dinner or a movie, and they ask me, hey, would you like a drink? Do you want some water? And automatically, I'm like, oh, no, thanks. I'm really not thirsty. Please don't inconvenience yourself. I'm so not thirsty. I just drank 60 gallons of water. I just took a bath, and I drank all of the bath water afterwards. I don't need any, anyway, I'm so good. But actually, this is a lie. I only said it because clearly, I don't deserve my friend's hard-earned tap water, right? Then a few minutes later, I realized, shoot, I'm actually super thirsty. I'm dying of thirst. But it's too late. I can't ask for water now because they'll realize they didn't give me water and now they're embarrassed. It's just awkward. So basically, and I can't even get a glass for myself. They might see it. So basically what I do is I go up to the washroom and I just drink with my hands. From the sink, not the toilet, right? I'm not a monster. And I come out and my shirt's wet and there's water dribbling down my chin. So I just apologize for taking their water and I go home and I cross a few more friends off my list. Part of secret eating is that even the desire for food has to be kept secret. So I can't really let on how passionately I'm desiring to just shove a muffin in my mouth. A few months ago when the North Star Diner was still open, I'm very sad they're closed. My husband went out to eat at North Star with our daughter, and I took my son to the library meanwhile. So usually he brings some takeout, and as soon as they leave, I'm just fantasizing about all that delicious takeout food I'm gonna, plow through in secret. It's gonna be cheesy and gooey and salty. So I don't know, for some reason I can only enjoy food when I eat it kind of like this. That's just how it tastes good to me. So I got back from the library, and as soon as my son was out of the room, I ran to the cupboard of deception. That's basically where my husband and I stash food that we pretend to disapprove of. We only sneak food out of it when the kids aren't in the room. And one of my greatest fears is that my son will catch me one day, and he'll know that all this time there's been There's been a shelf full of sugar, salt, and fat in our house. So I'm like hiding this, like with my life. So I check in there and there's nothing. My husband didn't bring any takeout. It's empty. And I'm just like even madder at my husband because I have to pretend that I'm not mad because I don't care if there's a treat for me. Like, why would I care? I don't care. So I'm mad about being mad and about not showing that I'm mad about being mad, and I'm getting so mad. So I make myself a compensatory treat of chocolate-covered pretzels, of course. And my husband walks into the kitchen. I throw the pretzels into the sink, so he won't see me. And then I'm just like, smashing plates at the sink because I'm so freaking mad. And he uses his incredible powers of insights to determine that I'm like, have some rage going on, and he's kind of confused because like I can't tell him what I'm angry about, right? Because it's secret. And then I go to the fridge afterwards to check for the healthy food I'm pretending to want to eat, and I see the takeout container of North Star pancakes that my husband lovingly brought home for me. They just were in the fridge. So this happens all the time. So partially because of this shame about eating yummy things, a former coworker actually once told me that the least healthy thing she's ever seen me eat is healthier than the healthiest thing she's ever eaten in her whole entire life. If you can figure that one out. Yeah, and I'm not trying to say I'm better than you. I'm just like trying to imply it by describing, my diet. But it's still hard for me to get back into my pre-parent pants. This is still maternity pregnancy pants, so I don't know. Like apparently quantity matters too. But anyway, like I just keep pretending, even to myself, that I don't crave delicious things, but it's just not true. So like that thing when you're really craving chocolate-covered pretzels, but part of you says that you should have the leftover stir-frying rice. You just keep eating cold stir-frying rice out of the pot. You're just like full, you're gonna puke, but you're just not satisfied because that's not what you wanted, right? You kind of know that experience. Like it's sort of like if I went to the bathroom and then I just start flossing, and I'm just like flossing, and like I could floss for an hour until I'm just bleeding all out of my gums, but I will not be satisfied until I, take my pants down, sit down in the toilet, and get out the container of chocolate-covered pretzels that is, hiding behind the toilet paper rolls, right? I know it's gross. You hide your chocolate pretzel stash probably in the cabinet with the mirror behind the Tums bottle, right? I know it's kind of weird. And I'm trying not to create this kind of like food anxiety in my kids because I don't want them to have have all my problems. But it's hard because my son, like, he just really loves, like, fat, oil, and sugar, right? So, like, I'm always like, how much do I give him, right? And, like, recently we went to Casey's, and I got him a drink, like a non-alcoholic, super sweet drink, and a bunch of fries. And I was like, like, this is great, he'll be happy. And then he starts yelling, like, pasta! I want pasta! I'm like, fuck, like, I got you 2 things. Are you, like, punishing me for taking you out? Like, what's going on? And I'm just like starting to yell at him, and he's yelling at me, and we're just having this fight. And suddenly, luckily, I heard him say like, I just want a 3rd thing. And I was like, oh, like you want 3 things? He's like, yeah, 3 is my favorite number. 3 is the most beautiful number. And I was like, oh, I'm just like, that was his need. The deep underlying need was he wanted 3 things. 3 is the most beautiful number. So I was like, no problem, I can work with 3. Like 3 is like, let's get steak cut fries or something. He was like happy with that, right? So it worked out great. So I was like 3 is fine. If his favorite number were 47, like, that wouldn't work so great. And yeah, like, I'll just say my husband is an introvert. So he told me recently he gets a dopamine rush just from going into a room and closing the door. He's like, oof, just feels great. And I was like, is that sort of like the same rush you would get from like eating a chocolate bar? He's like, yeah, it's just so nice to just close the door and know like no one can see me, I'm alone. I was like, okay, for me to get that dopamine rush, I would close the door and like secretly eat an actual chocolate bar. Like, I need the real chocolate. All right, we're good? Okay, was that worth the recording? Like, what do you think?
Well, I mean...